Here it is, the SMSL AO200. Let's take a look at this thing. Now I gotta say that this is pretty lackluster packaging from SMSL. I'm usually used to them being a little bit more vibrant, something easy to see on the shelf to pick up. So a little bit surprising in my opinion. It does come with a user manual. About $280 for this little guy here. Wow, it's a lot heavier than I expected. Don't drop the antenna. There's some things about this that I already love. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. First, this is the power cord. Why is that a big deal? That means the power supply is integrated into this unit. And you can tell that the power supply is actually on this side. And the reason why I can tell that is because it's heavier on this side than it is this side. And so my guess would be that the power supply is right here. And of course that would make sense because there's where the power is. So it's got an integrated power supply, which I really do appreciate. It comes with a remote control. It comes with, of course, your Bluetooth antenna, and it comes with a USB cord for DAC. Now, besides that, this unit is pretty basic looking. There's not much on it. There's a screen here, but this screen is actually a color screen, and I thank you so much, SMSL, for finally putting a color screen on it. Now, granted, SMSL has always had a screen where you can change the colors, or have for a while now, but this one actually does multicolors, and I really do appreciate that. It really does separate it from some of the other amplifiers that I've reviewed. It does have a normal aluminum rotary potentiometer here for the volume, and then of course that's going to select all your different menus and inputs right there from the screen if you want to. On the bottom, it has some 4 rubber feet, and on the back, it's got some binding posts over here. It does have your on-off switch back here for your power supply. And then it's got 2 actual balanced inputs, which is really awesome to have balanced inputs on these amplifiers. It's very rare for you to find one in this size to have some balanced inputs. So I really appreciate that. It also has your inputs for RCA if you want to use unbalanced, and it has subwoofer out, so you can easily turn this to a 2.1 amplifier. Now that subwoofer out is not powered, so you'll need a powered subwoofer, active subwoofer, however you want to say that. And then of course there's the antenna for the Bluetooth, which is a Bluetooth 5.0. Now this enclosure is made out of aluminum, but really what you care about with this is what's under the hood. And that's where this gets really exciting. This is using German's new Infineon chips, and in fact it's using dual Infineon chips for that. And for those of you who know Class D technology, not all chips are made the same, and German's Infineon right now are known as some of the highest on the market, along with something like HypeX. So for it to include that in there is a huge deal. Now another thing that makes this amplifier so unique is that it can actually run all the way down to 2 ohms. That means it's a 2 ohm stable amplifier in this small compact size. And that makes this a really interesting amplifier because it should be able to run basically any speakers you have on it right out of the box. Now when you hear the name AO200, you're gonna assume that this is actually a 200 watt amplifier. It's not really. Because it does 2 ohms, that's where you're gonna get the most power. And at 2 ohms, you're gonna get 150 watts per channel, so 300 watts total power. At 4 ohm, you're gonna get 90 watts per channel, so a little under 200 watts, about 180, and at 8 ohm, you're gonna be getting about 50 watts a channel. So it is very powerful. Now, if you have some 2 ohm speakers that you wanna give a lot of power to, this is probably one of the smallest compact ways I know of to be able to do that for you. Now, even with all that power, the THD is supposed to be about 0.003%. And the thing that I love about SMSL is they are not afraid to publish the graphs of their amplifier. Take a look at these. Now, another feature that this offers that you're not gonna see right when you open up the box, but you're gonna see when you get inside the menu system is the soft clipping. Now, this is a really neat feature. What this does is anytime you have a waveform that's gonna square off or clip, it's gonna go ahead and gently round those over to give you soft clipping instead of a harsh clip. Now that's gonna be much better for your speakers, especially in the long run. I guess it's time to do some tests on this thing. I really wanna actually hook this up to some speakers. I think I'm gonna go ahead and hook them up to Uglies upstairs. That's a room that I'm still kind of in the process of working on, so it doesn't look the nicest right now, but I wanna set this up, test it on the Uglies, because the Uglies can take a lot of power, and when they're powered correctly, produce a lot of bass. But they're also not the most efficient speakers. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a look, hook those up, and see how well this does on it. So let's go ahead and do that right now. All right, so let me go ahead and tell you what I thought about it after listening to it. Now, as you can tell, I was actually really impressed with the bass that this put out. Now, obviously, I could fine-tune this and add incredible amounts of bass if I really wanted to, but the bass was still tight and controlled. The sound of this was what I would consider pretty neutral. I thought it sounded really, really good pushing the uglies, which is good because the uglies have a very flat and linear response. So if it has too much of a higher end sound on it, you know, that doesn't sound the greatest on those particular speakers. Overall though, I was impressed. Now those speakers are nominal 8 ohms, so this is giving them about 50 watts each. And I gotta say the bass was incredible on that. And especially thinking them only giving them 50 watts. I don't think I've ever given them anything less than 100 watts from an actual amplifier like this. So I was surprised at how much bass output they still put out. Now I keep talking about the bass output because when you're limited with power, most of the power is going to be going to the bass, and so you want to be able to see if it's enough to power them to levels that you're happy with, and I was. As far as the rest of the tonality, I thought it sounded really good, and you can easily go into the adjustments and change the tone if you want to. And that's one of the things I love about this particular brand of amplifier. SMSL does have their own patented SDB technology in here to allow you to adjust the bass and treble. And of course, they have some presets already that you can go through that's going to change the sound as well. And they even have that direct mode as well, which disables all those effects. Overall, I think that this is a tremendous amplifier that's built really, really well. I think the sound quality is there, and I love the different things that they've added, such as the color display, the balanced inputs, and adding Bluetooth 5.0. And finally, my favorite probably thing is the built-in power supply. And when you add all this up, it ends up becoming a tremendous value. Now, if you're looking for an amplifier that offers those types of things, I think that this is a definite buy. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. This is Toyd's DIY Audio, and I'm out. What to do, what to do. I'm gonna hook back up the uglies and play some more music. See you guys.